The AI revolution isn't coming, it's already here. Using AI tools, I was able to build my own software in just a few weeks without writing a single line of code. Whether you want to build a startup, automate your job, or just create something cool, you don't need a technical background anymore. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how. Just to give you guys an idea of what's possible, here's a showcase of what I built using AI. The software is called AirChat AI, and as you can see, it's a AI customer support service for Airbnb hosting. Everything that you see in this demo, including this landing page that I'm on, was 100% created by AI. Inside our actual dashboard, you can see the conversations that get pulled from Airbnb, and we can use AI through this AI reply button to help us improve customer service response time. The way that I was able to set this up is that in our settings tab, I added a section here for properties. Basically, it serves as a knowledge base that you can go in, add a property, add whatever relevant information the AI might need to know, such as your check-in information, your Wi-Fi, what amenities, the FAQ, and the AI is going to reference this property list when dealing with customers. So how do you actually build something like this? Because contrary to what a lot of people might think, it's not as simple as just asking AI to build me a software and get a finished product in one try. From someone with no technical background, the honest truth is that it took a lot of trial and error. But from that experience, I've put together a 4-step framework so that anyone can build software no matter how little experience you actually have. All right, so the first question that I recommend you ask yourself is, what problem am I solving? It could be a problem that you or a friend experience in your personal or professional lives, but I always recommend that you start with a problem that you know best. In other words, if I have a background in e-commerce and that's my domain of expertise, I'm probably not going to make a software for real estate. In my case, I have a close friend who runs multiple Airbnb properties, and he was complaining to me about spending a lot of time and money on outsourcing customer service. I didn't start building until I truly understood the pain points, so start by solving a problem that can either help you or someone you know. Once you've identified what problem you want to solve, the next step is to plan out the specifics of your project using ChatGPT. Figure out, what platform is my software going to be on? Is it web-based? Is it a mobile app? Is it a Google Chrome extension? Depending on what platform that your software is built on, it's going to use different languages and require different setups. What core features does your software have? What APIs are you going to use? Will you need a database for user profiles? Oh, but Derek, I don't know what an API is, or I don't know how to set up a database. That's okay. I didn't know anything either, and that's why we're using AI to help us. Go to ChatGPT, describe what it is you want to build, and ask it to create an outline of your project and what components you might need. Ask it things like, what tech stack should I use? Or does this project I'm building need a database? And if so, how do I do it? The beautiful thing is that if you come across something technical that you don't know, you can ask ChatGPT for an explanation and learn as you're building. I promise you, you're gonna learn so much faster by getting your hands dirty and just messing around and trying to build something. Once you have your plan made, this is where the fun starts and you build out your front end. If you don't know what a front end is, it's basically how your software looks to users. Think of it like a storefront. I always recommend building the front end first because it's easier to visualize what you're creating. Plus, it's just more motivating to see your project come to life. For this step, I recommend using Bolt AI. There are other AI code builders out there like Lovable or Replit, but Bolt is the one that I've been using and I've been pretty happy with my experience. It's an AI platform that can create entire front ends surprisingly well, and it's very intuitive. Here's what I did for AirChat. I went to Bolt and just said, create a dashboard for an Airbnb message management tool. Bolt built the entire interface in minutes. Then I just iterated, make the sidebar darker, add a settings page, change the font. It's really that simple. It also integrates with GitHub, which is basically Google Drive for your code. You'll need this in phase 3, so create a GitHub account if you don't have one and connect it in Bolt by clicking the GitHub icon next to your profile. At this phase, the goal is not to have a fully working software yet. The buttons don't have to be functional and your APIs don't have to be integrated. We'll save that for the next phase. Once you have the shell of your software looking good, we can move on. Once you have the front end of your project done, we can then move on to the back end, which is kind of where the real work lies. If the front end was a shell or a body, then the back end is kind of like the heart and blood that really makes it function behind the scenes. For this phase, I recommend using Cursor AI. The reason that we switch platforms specifically for the back end is because I found Bolt to be very good at making things look nice, but when it comes to the intricacies of really building a backend, Cursor handles it much better. To open your project from Bolt and into Cursor, you simply open Cursor's desktop application and click on Clone Repo, which is going to allow you to take the project that you stored on GitHub and copy those files onto a folder into your desktop. One important thing to note is that Cursor doesn't have that nice visual representation of your software like Bolt does. So in order to actually see it, you'll need to set up a local host for your front end and back end, either using your own terminal windows or asking Cursor to help you do it for you. If it sounds confusing at first, don't feel bad because it is confusing the first time. But again, at any point in your build, you can always ask the AI for guidance. When I started, I would literally ask Cursor, how do I view my software? And it would walk me through step by step how to set up a local host. Once you've managed to do that, your goal should be to use Cursor to build out each feature one by one. Things are gonna break, you're gonna get confused. Sometimes you might send a meaner message to the AI than you might like to admit, but it's that struggle of tackling these issues and finding solutions that really creates real growth and makes this process so rewarding. If you've made it this far into your software, congratulations, the hardest part is over. All that's left is for you to deploy and make it go live. The deployment really depends on what type of software you've made. So for example, if you've built a mobile app for iOS, then that's going to involve going through the Apple developer program and submitting it for a review. But for web-based software, you need a way for people to access it on the internet, which is where cloud host platforms come in. For the front end, I like to use Vercel, and for the back end, I like to use Railway. These platforms basically function like your local host does, except it allows people to access it on their computers. One important thing to mention is security. If you're using sensitive information like API keys, never put them directly in your code. Instead, store them in an environment file or an env file. Locally, these are going to be in your project folder, but when you host on Vercel or Railway, you'll put those values in what's called a variable section where it keeps those keys private. I know this is a little bit more technical than the rest of the video, but this is such a super important thing. If you're going to be building, make sure you do it safely. The purpose of this video was not to be as technical as possible, but rather to show you what concepts you need to understand in order to build. Right now with AI, the technical side is no longer the barrier to entry. It's the concepts. You don't need to know how to code, but you need to know what to do with the code. So that's why I've structured this video in a way that's friendly for beginners, hopefully without bombarding you guys with technical stuff that's too complex. If you found this helpful, I'm documenting my entire journey building AI products, all the wins, all the failures, what works, what doesn't, and drop a comment if you're building something too, because I love to hear what you guys make.